But first, stocks are falling on renewed worries that the run-up on Wall Street has outpaced the prospects for a real economic recovery. For more details, let's go to Deborah Koshner at the NYSE. Deborah?
Thanks a lot, Pim. Yes, Friday's market, a real downer for those weekly numbers, but one caveat. We did have selling on Friday, but we did have a little bit lighter than average volume compared with the 6-month average. Pretty typical for a Friday in the summer. But the market falling Friday after confidence among consumers unexpectedly falling in August as we got a lot more concerns over jobs and wages. In fact, one economist pointing out if consumers are lacking confidence, then they will not be able to help us spend our way out of this recession. Also, David Tice, chief strategist at Federated Investors, saying that stocks, he says, are dramatically overpriced because the fallout from the financial crisis, he says, will continue to hurt consumer spending. And that was a major theme this week, this consumer spending theme. Take a look at the major averages, though, for the week first, lower. And we got some evidence on Thursday. Things may not be so rosy with retail sales falling for the first time in 3 months. That led to those concerns about the job market and how consumers are spending. And the Dow down at more than 0.5%, the S&P down 0.63%, and the NASDAQ down 0.74% for the week. But take a look at our year-to-date numbers. Even with the slight decreases that we saw for this week, the Dow still up 6% for the year, the S&P up 11%, and the NASDAQ holding on to an almost 26% gain for the year. So with all the talk about consumer confidence and retail sales being light this week, you can imagine that consumer discretionary stocks, those were the hardest hit stocks. And many of the retailers like Walmart and Kohl's reporting earnings this week. And the one thing that they were able to do, at least for Walmart, was to report better than expected earnings, but they did so by reducing inventory and reducing their costs. And that has been pretty typical for many companies here as they've been reporting their second quarter earnings. Not a lot of sales growth, but we are seeing companies cutting their costs instead of increasing those sales. And next week, we also have a lot of earnings to tell you about. You have Target releasing their earnings, Lowe's, Home Depot, Limited, and Sears Holdings. So another week where we will be looking at some of those retail and consumer stocks. Back to you in the studio, Pim.
Thank you very much, Deborah Koshner, reporting from the NYSE.